I want to talk about a topic that's of interest to me that I think in learning Torah needs to be examined, and I want to talk about it for a few minutes. In the parsha, in Parshas Noach, in this past week's parsha, so there's a story that happens to Noach when he comes out of the Teva. The Torah describes Shem, Cham, and Yafes. Noach has three sons who survive the Mabul with him in the Teva. And they come out of the Teva, and Noach plants Vayita Karim. Great to see you. I had one picture, I had a beautiful picture in my sukkah. Avi could be made of the Zayda. Beautiful picture in my sukkah of the Zayda. It's of Gissinger's Einikel. Chaim Kesten, a beautiful picture, really good. Anyway. So Vayachal Noach Ishu Adam Vayita Karim. Noach plants a vineyard after he comes out of the Teva. Vayesh min hayayin, and he drinks wine. Vayishaker, and he gets drunk. Noach gets drunk. There's a lot to talk about what Noach's mistakes. The Torah calls Noach a tzaddik, and Noach makes a geshmak l'chaim after the Mabul. Very, very interesting. The whole sugya of Yayin's an interesting sugya. Yayin's a beautiful thing. It's such a cool thing that we make Kiddush ala Yayin. My favorite mitzvah in the world is Kiddush. I love the mitzvah of Kiddush. And we do it ala Yayin. Yayin's very, very chashuv. It has such a strong place in Yiddishkeit. And we know Yayin can be used for big averos. But on big times, Kiddush, we make ala Yayin from the greatest mitzvah. Yid is Zachar Yom Shabbos L'Kadshay. It's the rice of Shmira Shabbos. The Asay of Zachar Yom Shabbos. And Chazal Misakin Zachreyu ala Yayin. Take wine and be Zachar Shabbos ala Yayin. So Yayin has a very strong place, an important place to make Kiddush. I'm always nervous. I have an allergy to wine. Given by Hashem. So maybe the topic of Yayin's like extra interesting to me. Yayin's very big. I get blotches on my face. I was in Chicago, and I was supposed to meet with a lot of people in the community in Chicago. And I went out with a guy in Yeshiva who had learned in Yeshiva, who's been through a lot in his life. And I wanted to make it like extra memorable for him. We went out to eat, but I wanted to like make it extra geschmack. So I ordered, not a tequila, what's the drink called? It's like a cool drink. I figured it'll be like very geschmack for him. It actually was a lot of fun. I'm allergic to yayin, but it's not just wine. Some people are allergic to the sulfites. I'm allergic to alcohol. I think my mama has it also. My mother has it. I'm allergic to any alcohol, even when there are no sulfites. I break out in blotches. I have trouble breathing, and I have a real allergy to wine. But I decided like a margarita, it's called? Margarita. Yeah. Did I say it right? Say it. Margarita. I'm like that. You know the Rebbe who doesn't want to say Derek Jeter's name right, like you say Derek Fleeter, like I'm like and I'm going to go home and have a quick margarita with my wife. Like margarita, what's it? The Lemaisa, I ordered this drink. It came out. It actually tasted good, but we each had a different straw. We made a l'chaim together. It was like very geschmack for him. Except I went to the speech. I had a drip. I went a shtickle shikker. First of all, because I never ever drink, it hits me much harder. I literally was a little woozy to the speech, and I had blotches over my face. I spoke with blotches in Chicago, literally blotches around my face, because I had a margarita together with my friend. But I wasn't responsible for too much what I said that, and I know it wasn't like smashed, but also a little sensitive to it. But anyway, Yayin is interesting that you have Kiddush ala Yayin, and yet Yayin could be such a danger. Yayin yesmach levav enosh. Wine is a source of joy. Karbanos, we have Nisa Chayayin. With every Talmud, we're learning brachas in yeshiva. Every Talmud they had Nisa Chayayin. There were wine libations Wine to Hashem. Wine is a lot of chashivus, and yet we know that that yayin could be dangerous. It's interesting. The Nazir promises not to drink yayin, and he's punished for it. The Nazir makes a commitment not to have yayin, and the Nazir at the end of his nis, I shouldn't say he's punished, but he brings a chatas, he brings a sin offering, and the Gemara says the reason he brings a sin offering, you held yourself back from yayin. Yayin's geschmack, a good yayin. Yayin can be very abused and misused. Some youngster gets slammed, and yayin can be a very prestigious, beautiful zach. Somebody has a little yayin, the covered Shabbos, Zachreyu al yayin. So it's interesting, after the Teva, Nayach vayita karem, he plants a kerem, vayesh min yayin, and he drinks yayin, the tzaddik. There's deep things, I'm not talking about it right now, I'm asking the Chaver to think about it. What was Nayach's cheshbon? Chazal criticized Nayach. It says, Vayichal Nayach, that he became chulin. There was a taina Nayach that he did it. Rashi says, Asa atzmai chulin. He made himself mundane. Shoyuloi lasek tchila b'netia acheres. He should have planted something else first. It's interesting that it was a good idea, Nayach. Just not, he had other things to do first. Very interesting. Nayach was chulin, he did a good tezach, but he tchila should have done other netiyas. Very interesting. The Torah is very sophisticated. It's not, the Torah is the MS of the world. Very interesting. Nayach comes out of the Teva, and he holds shtar to get busy with yayin, and he gets a shtickle shikker. And the criticism of Nayach is, you're right, but it wasn't the first thing you should have done. You should have done other plantings. Nachtam, you should have had yayin. After you did other stuff, it would have had yayin. You should have done other stuff first. What do you say, Martha?
I'm just telling Josh, I don't blame him. The whole world just got destroyed.
You needed a l'chaim. Martha's right. He came out l'chaim. Yeah, Martha says stark. Martha hears Nayach. The criticism is not he made a l'chaim. Doesn't say he was wrong to do it. It says he should have been Isaac and other netiyas tchila. He had other business to take care of first. Very interesting. I have thoughts. I don't have a pshat. I have thoughts. I'd love to hear what the Chevra thinks, what his cheshbon was and what his mistake is. But this is what Nayach does. He drinks yayin. He's then, by Yiska, he's lying in a compromised position in his tent. He's undressed, he got shikker, and he's lying in a compromised position in his tent. Vayar Cham avi Knanes ervas aviv. Says the Torah, Cham, his son, comes in and sees his father uncovered. Vayigad l'shteyach b'chutz, and he says to his brothers, you got to see this sight. He runs outside and he tells his brothers about his father's compromised position. He said, phew, check out Dad. You know, he gets on us when we drink. He runs outside, Cham the three says to his brothers, check out Dad. He tells the brothers. Shem and Yafes, of course, in dignity, they take simla, they take a garment, vayesimu al shchem shneim, they put it on their shoulders, vayelchu achiranis, and they walk backwards. Some say the pshat they put it on their shoulders is they didn't even want to cover him. They walked up to him backwards, but then to cover him, they'd have to turn around. I saw in one sefer that they put a garment on each of their shoulders, walk to their father, and when they get up to him, he just takes off the garment and it comes on him. Picture they have like a cover on each of them, and they just walk backwards. It's on each of their shoulders, draped, and when they walk, it just ends up on him, and they don't have to turn around to see him. So they both, with tremendous sneus, care about their father's dignity. And Shem and Yafes take a garment, they put it on their shoulders, they walk in backwards, and they cover their father. Upneim achiranis. Says twice, their faces weren't facing him. Ve'erva saviyam loiro. They didn't see their father in a compromised position.
Says twice what?
That they were backwards. The Sfarim speak about this. Vayelchu achiranis. They walked backwards. Upneim achiranis, and their face was backwards. It says two things. And they cover their father in a very tzniistic oifen. They didn't want to look at their father. Now it says two of the brothers, Shem and Yafes, did this. For anybody who knows Diktuk, it says Vayikach Shem v'Yafes. What should it have said? Vayikchu, plural. It says Vayikach Shem v'Yafes. Shem v'Yafes he took. It should say they took. Vayikchu Shem v'Yafes. It's plural. It's two people. In Diktuk, it should say Vayikchu they took. It doesn't say they took. It says he took. The reason it says he is because it was Shem's idea. And Shem was rewarded. The Klal Yisrael comes from Shem. And we're zeicher the mitzvah of tzitzis because of the dignity. Tzitzis is a dignity a yid has, and the mitzvah of tzitzis, the dignified tzitzis that a yid has, is b'schus. The tzitzis that a yid has is b'schus that it was Shem's. Yafes did it also, and Yafes got rewarded. But it says he took, not they took, because it was Shem's impetus. They both got schar, but Shem, it was his idea. It was his idea, and he was the one who covered his father and cared about the dignity of his father. I always liked that his name is Shem, and he cared about the dignity of his father. He's called Shem, but he cares about the dignity of his father, and as such, we're rewarded with the mitzvah of tzitzis. Shem and Yafes both did it, but Vayikach, he took, Shem was the decider. It was his idea. Now, when you study the Torah, Chum was very inappropriate. His father was in a compromised position, and he didn't have sensitivities. That's the psukim in the Torah say. When you study Chazal, Shem did terrible averis. Rashi brings a Chazal when it says Vayaris ervas aviv, he saw his father uncovered. Yesh Rabbi Seinu oimim sarsa, he did something to his father. V'yesh oimim ravoi. It's a Gemara Sanhedrin, and it says he did terrible things to his father. Sirsa, Yorava, he did things to his tata. And the question begs, there's much to think about, but the simple question is, why does the Torah record it so vanilla? He saw his father not dressed properly, and he wasn't sensitive. All of a sudden you read Chazal, he did terrible things. He was Mesaris, his father, who was the rabbi's father. What's going on? If that's what happened, so why does the Torah record it so vanilla? So you could say tznius. The Torah is emes. It's just the truth. Records that he saw his father. It's not the story. There was much deeper breaches. Yeah. Good Susha. By Reuven, Daniel points out, the Torah records it as if he did a terrible avera, as if he did something to his father's wife, and there it was only no sensitivity, like the exact opposite. Here it protects the Russia. The Torah is so protective of the Russia. It's Chum, he's a terrible Russia, and he's punished severely. The Torah records that he saw. He shouldn't have looked at what he looked at. And Chazal, the Rabbi Seinu, tell us the real story. When you get older and you get more like sophisticated, you can hear the real story. I don't know how to tell you this. This is what really happened. So why does the Torah record it that he saw? Why does Hashem record it like that? That's the question that we have here. Why does Hashem record that Chum saw, which is definitely not appropriate? He saw his father compromise and wasn't sensitive. But then you read Chazal, he was a lot worse than I. He was Mesaris, his father. Means he did something that his father couldn't have more children. Which is its own sugya that Chum wanted to make sure that no more children is fascinating. He was Mesaris, his father. There was two guys in the yeshiva dining room. Two guys, they were both inebriated on a Leil Shabbos. I listened to them have a conversation. It was, super. One guy was describing, I'm not bringing children. I'll never bring children into this world. He was describing the tsar of the Welt. He said, I'll never bring children here. The other guy was describing the beauty of children. They were both weren't sober. And things were, I only say they weren't sober. They should have the conversation sober. There was a certain purity from both. One was describing a sensitivity, the tsar in the world. And he was describing the tsar in the world, and he said, I would never have kids. So much tsar, complicated Welt. Very interesting to me that Noach comes out of the teva and he makes a l'chaim, shmak, and his chum, the son who doesn't understand, makes sure his father can't have children. Messiah his father. Very interesting. Wants his tata, no more children. Schlechte Welt or gute Welt. Noach sees a beautiful world. He's making a l'chaim. Now the criticism's not his l'chaim. He should have first. I'm not saying for sure this is pshat. I'm just learning, Chevra. I'm trying to learn Torah. Very interesting. Noach comes out of the teva and he makes a l'chaim. He sees a good world. Then his yoinus, the difficulty, he sees a gute Welt. He makes a l'chaim. He drinks. Chum comes out of the teva and he's Messiris, his tata. He makes that his father can't have children. It's interesting. I heard a guy, Mamish, say a schlechte Welt. And the other guy was describing the beauty of a tata and a son. Such a world, the beauty of a father and son. They had this. They were going on a long time. The yeshiva dining room went till after 4 a.m. on a Leil Shabbos. These two guys, they had big machloisim, arguing, tining. It was heated. It was very, very stark. Nayam was there with me. Nayam and I were listening. Nayam was there with me listening. Two guys were having a tremendous vikuach, a holy vikuach. From Cleveland. So the question Rabbi said, no, Martha knows Nayam. Yeah, why I needed a witness to what I saw, I was just saying the truth. I'm remembering. No. The kitzer is, so Avi, you hear what I'm asking? The Etzem story is remarkable. What happened is amazing. But I'm asking, why does it record that Chum sees, and he doesn't care about the dignity of his father, to what really happens? He did terrible things to his father. He was Messiris. He made his father not have kids. The Rabbi Seinu say he did shrekliche things to his tata, and the Torah just records that he didn't care about the dignity of his father. What I want to share with the Chevra, all sins have roots. Sins have roots. You have they're chazal that are hard to understand. There's a chazal that it's worse to speak lashon hara than gili arayah, shvichas dam, and avodah zara. How do you understand that? We don't punish the same. If somebody murders is worse than lashon hara. No, chazal say lashon hara is worse. Their roots and their breaches and their deep shrushim, their deep roots to all of sins. When the Torah records that Chum wasn't sensitive, he wasn't sensitive to the pristine nature of a person, is the Torah is describing in a deeper way. Of course, the Rabbi Seinu say, you want to know what happened? He was Messiris, his father. He did something very bad to his father. But the deeper root is that he wasn't chas on the covet of his tata. He didn't see the dignity. By the way, in a deep, deep way, the way I'm learning he was Messiris, the way I'm learning that he caused his father couldn't have children, the way I'm understanding is he saw a shvera Welt, he didn't see the soul. He saw a world of temporary. What do you bring kids into the world? There's a mabul, people die. He saw destruction. He saw death. He didn't see the soul, that people are eternal. And then he goes, so the shirish he doesn't see. People say, I don't get it. The person went through so much sorrow. There's big things. Hashem is working with people. There are big places. There's big destinations for the neshama. If you just see a very physical world, I don't get it. You don't see the whole picture of a soul that's having tikkunim, that's getting places, that's being refined, that's being prepared. So in the physical world, if somebody watched what happened, he was Messiris, his father. He didn't want his father to have children. But much deeper what happened is he saw ervas of him. In a deeper way of what happened is he wasn't chas on the covet of his father. He saw ervas of him and didn't appreciate the dignity and the tzidkus and the soul of the person. So there's the shirish of chet and there's the chet. And the Torah saying Vayar, and what he saw and didn't respond, is the deeper yet. It might be even worse than what he did, is what he saw and what he experienced and how he experienced it. To our eyes, we just can go, in our world, all we have is the actions. So to what we express is we see he was Messiah, his father. But the Torah, Hashem was Yedei Machshavos. The deepest thing is Vayar. He saw and he wasn't sensitive. These not what you would experience if you were there. You don't know his machshavos, his thoughts. But the Torah Akdosh is the emes. And deeper than the action comes from experience. It comes from a mindset. And the Torah records the lack of sensitivity. That's the Torah records the deeper thing, the sensitivity. It's interesting. Sitting right here next to me, Ramosha Shapiro was nifter. So a yid came to yeshiva, who was a Talmud of Ramosha Shapiro. And I asked the yid, say a eulogy on Ramosha Shapiro, eulogize your Rebbe. Were you here, Moshe, when I asked? I asked the yid who's written Sfarim, say a eulogy. He said something so interesting. He said, being around Ramosha Shapiro, he said two things. When I was around such a human being, I couldn't drink out of a soda bottle. Not that the Rebbe said don't drink out of a soda bottle. I'm not so impressed. It's okay, no, I don't know. I hear. He didn't say that the Rebbe told me not to drink out of a can. A can, not a bottle, a can. But he said when I would hang around a Moshe, I was so taken by what it means a human being, I couldn't drink out of a can. I just felt I needed a cup. I felt more dignified. Not that Reb Moshe told him not to drink out of a can. He just said being around such dignity, it brought out like Malchus. It just didn't feel. He gave two examples. He said also, you see somebody from down there, you scream to him. It's a normal thing. You get excited. You see somebody, you scream. He said when I was around Reb Moshe Shapiro, I so felt dignified, I couldn't scream out to a friend from far. Oh yeah. You walk up to the guy, I couldn't scream out. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad zach to scream out. I'm not saying it's a bad zach to drink from a can. I am saying that there's dignity to a human being. And he said being around his Rebbe brought out a raimamus and a dignity and a refinement that didn't let him drink from a can. He just like it wasn't... there's a certain refinement, there's a class, there's a dignity. That's what he said it brought out. The story of Ham, it says he did terrible things, and the terrible things, he didn't want his father to have children, he saw a schwere Welt, but the Torah records it that he wasn't chas on the covet of his tata. That there wasn't dignity and refinement, the covet of his father, and that comes from a very deep place of a person's lack of dignity, lack of tapping into deep places in ourselves, that he lost his own dignity and saw ervas aviv. That's the Torah describes. I wanted on Shabbos Friday night, I spoke about Rav Hutner. I'm not equipped. I don't want to pretend. I didn't learn by Rav Hutner. I didn't learn in Chaim Berlin. And I'm not equipped like to say a eulogy on the tzaddik. I only feel that our yeshiva was started, the people funded the yeshiva, the Rabinowitz mishpacha, that we found this, Yitz Rabinowitz found this campus for us. His family are Chaim Berliners. Avram Fruchthandler's a yid who helped fund and start the yeshiva that we're zeicha to learn in. So I felt that the world of Chaim Berlin. I felt that the world of Rabbi Kaufman found the yeshiva campus and was involved in starting the yeshiva. I felt that it's weird for us to ignore the goings-on in Yeshiva Chaim Berlin. They lost. The Rosh Yeshiva was nifter this past week. Rabbi Shlomo Halava, the Rosh Yeshiva there. So I wanted the guys to know a little bit about Chaim Berlin. I'm not prepared to give the big drushes. I don't know tons about the yeshiva. I can only go what I see, what's apparent to me. And what I could see in the yeshiva Chaim Berlin is, and I see from Rav Hutner's, I'm no expert on Rav Hutner's writings, though my son Moshe loves his Torah, the Pachad Yitzchak. but I'm no expert, far from an expert on his writings. But what I saw in Chaim Berlin, and I have friends, we all have friends that are Talmidim, he brought a certain raimimus, a certain dignity, a human being, the dignity of a human being. It was a certain hakbada for anybody who knows, even anybody who knows Rav Aaron Schechter, who was the Rav Hutner's Talmud, and I was zeicher to meet with him. He was very careful of how he spoke, how he said things, and there was clearly a tremendous emphasis on dignity, on kavod, a certain malchus. There was a certain regalness that was there, and Rav Hutner demanded this of his students, a certain dignity, that was something he demanded, and certainly it was. America has so many beautiful aspects. We live in a country with tremendous, tremendous things to get from. Hashem sends us into Galus. America's amazing, and there's tremendous things to learn. It says, Chazal say, the reason we go into Galus is to pick up Gerim. While it certainly means kipshutai, to pick up converts, of course it means that the Sar, every country has attitudes that have good roots, and the Yid picks up good things from the country. But we learn how to sift. We could also be influenced by Goyim and learn bad things, and we learn how to take the milas from a country, and one has to study what are the milas. There's certainly milas that a person can pick up. It's interesting, one of the things that was picked up in Europe is a certain dignity. There's a certain dignity that is picked up in Europe. America doesn't necessarily have that dignity, that type of dignity. People who are not, I had a Rebbe, a European Rebbe, would see our restaurants, he would cringe from it. People eating pizza in public, it would make him crazy. It would make him they're mindless to America. There's a comfortability. There's an Avardic aspect. There's an akud of not being afraid, of trying things. There's a humility. America has mindless, has real stuff. But we have to make sure a Yid has a dignity, has a kavod. Beichaloi kulayim a kavod. Rav Hutner demanded from his students a certain dignity that comes from somebody who's a Ben Melech, who's princely, whose behaviors are princely, certain behaviors of dignity that was very, very important, that Rav Hutner taught his Talmidim, brought out of his Talmidim a certain type of malchus that existed there in the world of Chaim Berlin. Chams Havera starts from a lack of dignity, a lack of kavod. This Talmud of Ramay Shapiro said a eulogy about his Rebbe and described the dignity that his Rebbe brought out. He wrote a sefer on kavod. We're Zeich in our Beis Medrash. Somebody learned in this Beis Medrash, a kid who's been here for 2 days in the yeshiva, I met this morning. He blew my brains out. I met this guy in yeshiva. I met him this morning. I lost my mind. He's a big one. He's a very big one. I can't wait for Pesach for him to meet Yair Cohen. I can't wait for this Bacher to meet Yair Cohen. I met a guy this morning, and he told me he's here 2 minutes. He's an honest person. He's here very short. He's here a couple of days. He said, I feel respected here. Really? He said it, that he feels it. He spoke the truth. He said, I feel very respected here. He felt that this is a bastion. It's a fortress of respect. You're a person, a Yid is respected. Yid's real, not pretend, not an external. Guys respect each other. It's a world, people are respected. A human being, a Yid is to be appreciated and celebrated and respected. It's a bastion, it's a fortress of respect. Here a Yid is appreciated and respected. And it's interesting seeing a world that Chum saw, and seeing Ein Shem to it, you can become a sense of everything is just puzzle and cheap. And Cham's response after coming out of the Teva was to not appreciate the dignity of his own Tata, to see Ervas Aviv and to not be important to him. And Chazal teach us he was Mesarser, his father. It's no coincidence. He said there's not a world you should bring people into. And the reality is completely wrong. And to see a world of dignity, a world of neshamas, a world of elevation, a world of kavod, that's Shem and Yafes. What's fascinating is Shem, who sees a world, who cares about the dignity of his father, and sees there's a world beyond the physical. What mitzvah does Shem get? The mitzvah of tzitzis. What's the mitzvah of tzitzis? To put on the corner of the garment tzitzis. There's a world beyond the physical. There's a world more than the physical. So Shem sees a person and it's the dignity of you. There's a world beyond the physical. That's the tzitzis. On the corner of the beged, there's a mitzvah. The corner means past the physical. Past what you see, there's something more. Don't just be a person who sees a beged and that's it. There's something beyond the beged. There's something more than the beged. I always like in this yeshiva, this yeshiva is like a tzitzis yeshiva. There's a shtickle rebellion on begadim. Because it's not just the begadim, there's something past the begadim. It's not just the physical. So it's like a rebellion. We're not so into begadim here. It's not a place. Where tzitzis yeshiva, don't get to, we put something past the beged. It's not just the externals of it. There's something much more and tifer. And shame, who vayikach, it's his idea to cover his father. He sees dignity. He sees something big and something precious, much beyond the physical. And Shem, who understands that and sees that, is zeicha to the mitzvah of tzitzis. Hashem gives him for seeing that there's more than the physical and caring about the dignity of a person, of a tzaddik. So he's zeicha to the mitzvah of tzitzis.
Tzitzis represents that? Tzitzis represents...
That's what's saying of Pshat and tzitzis, that past the beged, there's something past. There's a mitzvah on the corner of the beged, past the physical, there's something. Shloima, if I could ask Shloima, I want to, this wasn't all to introduce a song. I'm trying to learn Torah, but I want to say that it's interesting in seeing difficult things. There could be two responses. Chum sees a world destroyed, and he's misarser on his father, and he gives up. And Noach sees a new world and has yayin, is excited. And he wasn't punished for having yayin, he was punished for having a tchila. But he sees a world, there's what to celebrate, there's what to build. It's interesting that there could be two, there's a prophecy that we've been singing a lot lately in yeshiva. And the Navi says there's going to be a day, Hine Yamim Ba'im, days are coming. Shlomo, I'm going to give you a chair, I'm going to explain. You have the guitar, our guitar? I want ours, yeah. The holy one. Yours is also holy. Right. This is not it, Shlomo?
No.
The Navi. Do I sound like that? I wasn't.
Maybe I was being for
the Thank you, Martha. The Navi says that days are coming. That Hashem says, Hine Yamim Ba'im, I'm going to send a famine to the world. The Shlachti Rav Baretz. Hashem says, I'm going to send a famine to the world. Lo Rav La Lechem V'lo Tzama L'mayim. But it's not the type of famine that people are going to be hungry for bread or thirsty for water. Kim L'shmayes Dvar Hashem. People are going to want to hear the word of Hashem. Shmuel, there are two responses. Now, be'emes, it's like a sad, tragic prophecy. There's going to be a time people are distant from Hashem. It's a tragic. Somebody asked, "What are you guys singing the song? They're all excited and Waterbury Yum." It's a tragedy. We should cry. It's like the saddest song. And if you read the prophecies there, it's going to be there. It's going to be such a dearth, a lack of service of Hashem, that people are going to be craving the service. It's terrible. It means people are going to crave the Dvar Hashem because they don't have the Dvar Hashem. Prussia, it's a prophecy of very sad times. They're going to be missing Ruchnius. That's the Pashup Shad in the prophecy. But I want to explain why we sing it very, very cheerful. And I want to say that Hashem's not stam rejecting us. Within a matzav of not having, we sometimes come in touch with a tremendous want for. And one can discover from difficult things, from a difficult situation. Somebody went to our Rebbe and said, Rebbe, I woke up late, I missed Man Kriyash Man Zman Tefillah, I feel sick over it. He said, I'm upset. He said, your mom is upset? He said, I'm upset. So he said, it's so good you missed. Now you know you really want to come Zman Kriya Shema and Zman Tefillah. Sometimes amidst the difficulty, we discover what we want. I want so bad, so it's a good tezach. Now you know what you want. And this prophecy speaks about a time that we're going to come in touch. It's mamish negeya zmanenu, that people are going to come in touch with a tremendous want for Hashem. So it's interesting. Cham's response to a difficult time, and Noach's response, and Shem and Yafis' response to a difficult time. Let's do this song, Shemana. First you, then we'll all sing it together. The key is hard. That's what Toby and I discovered. Very good, very jumps. First you'll do it, then we'll all sing. Chaim Zev, you're into this song? I like this song.
Hashem yishlach tirava, res lo yiravav lalechem v'lo tzamo alam havayim. Hine yamim bava ivneu, Hashem yishlach tirava, res lo yiravav lalechem v'lo tzamo alam havayim. Lo yirav lalechem Hashem, Lo'irav L'Alechem, Eloitzam Alamayim, Kim Lishmaya, Sivan Hashem. Bo'im Neyo, Mishlach Tirabare, Lo'irav L'Alechem, Eloitzam Yamim ba'im ne'om Hashem yishlach tirabare Rav la'lechem v'lo tzamal ha'mayim Rav la'lechem v'lo tzamal ha'mayim K'yim l'shmaya Zvar Hashem Lord of the Lechem, Lord of the Mayim, Yim Lishmoya, Hashem, la 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 la, Mishlach tirabare, Zoirav L'Alechem, Eloitzamo L'Amayim, Hine Yamim ba'im ne'om, Hashem Mishlach tirabare, Zoirav L'Alechem, Eloitzamo L'Amayim, Zoirav Lamayim, Kim Lishmoya, Zvar Hashem, Lord of Lechem, Lord Tzamal Lamayim, Kim Lishmoya, Zvar Hashem.
That's beautiful. What I'm bringing out the song together with the Chumash is that to response to difficult situations Here you have a prophecy that sounds so negative, but much deeper. What we're singing is amidst the difficulty brings out of a person a tremendous, tremendous chukka for good things. It brings out, the person's missing and lacking and wanting, and it brings out. I came here 24 years ago, and I saw in many Bachrim who were looking for something. I found a chukka for Hashem. I met the soul. And sometimes it looks like there's so much lack. What's happening? Hashem wants us to get in touch with the want, Kiyum l'shmayas dvar Hashem. He makes a famine, means there's a dearth of ruchnius. People have struggles, and they get in touch. L'rav la'lechem. They're not hungry for bread. L'tzam l'mayim kiyum l'shmayas dvar Hashem. A want. They get in touch with a tremendous want for the dvar Hashem. So I'm contrasting that. I'm bringing out here after a mabul. Chum emerges from a difficult circumstances. Life's not worth it. He's misaris his father. He gives up on the dignity of a human. And Nayach emerges and makes a l'chaim. He gets in touch with a want for life, with a want for Hashem, with a want for construction, with a want for chesed. That's Nayach's response after the Mabul, as he makes a l'chaim. There's a world to build. There's a world to create. This guy, those two guys had a conversation in the dining room. One sees pain, and he said, I'm not bringing a child into the world. And the other saw opportunity, a want to do chesed. He wants to bring a kid. He said, you know how much you can give to your child? You know how much beauty in a father-son relationship? He started describing to the other guy. He also went through difficult. And he said, I'm craving to bring a son. You see a world of tsar. I see a world where in that space I could bring the love of a father to a son. Beautiful Av of an Av Leben. He started describing to him, a father and a son, the beauty of that relationship. So this is Nayach's beautiful response, and Shem and Yafes, who walk out of the Mavel, the dignity of a person, the value of a person, the appreciation. They were survivors. They had an uplift in the appreciation of a person. And they saw a person as being so big, so much more than physical. And they protected the dignity of their father. And they were zeicha to a mitzvah of putting on the corner of the beged, deeper than the begadim is to put tzitzis. So this is what I wanted to share with the chevra. I did want to welcome back. I want to welcome Akiva back to Yeshiva, and thank you for being here. I always, besides loving Akiva and appreciating Akiva a lot, for all of us people who love Sulam, his father is one of the most remarkable. Sulam has tremendous beauty, that camp I'm zeicha to be part of. And one of the real special treasures of Sulam is Akiva's Tata Reb Chaim. He's the hardest working guy in Sulam, probably. It's debatable, but he works like crazy the weeks there to make things setting up. Here's somebody who all year is a Rebbe, and he comes to Sulam. He believes in the yeshiva. He believes in the mission of the yeshiva. He works his head off with such positivity, with such kindness. I always dreamt, Akiva, in a ruchniistic place, every aspect matters. Guys were making league teams for the guys were sitting together. Relly was making league teams.
Not word.
He's doing it right now?
Not word.
Relly's busy. Relly, who was helping? Gershon Pagrau and Aryeh Cohn. They were working hard, who's making league teams and working on it. It always was important. There's no chulin in a place of service of Hashem. Every aspect matters. So it's always important to me that everybody involved in every activity in a place of holiness, it counts and it matters. I would tell the custodians about the yeshiva. Alan loves the yeshiva. And I promise he's my friend, and I've told him many times about what the yeshiva does. He understands the yeshiva, and he's into the yeshiva. There's every aspect in a place of holy matters and counts and has an important place. Reb Chaim, Akiva's father, he's doing the physical stuff. The imamich does it with a passion, with a simcha, with a chiyus. It's a beautiful part of Sulam. So I'm appreciative of your tata, and I appreciate he's a reason he's zeicher to a precious son. So I'm happy. Welcome home, Akiva. Happy to have you back. Thank you. I want to welcome as well. We have the Chassan Shmuel Coates back. What's the date of the Chassan? December 4th. Excellent. What do you say?
Hello.
That's true. 1 month. Fantastic. Where's the Chasna Shmuel? Brightstone. Fantastic. You in Eretz Yisrael the second day, Shmuel? Yeah. You there the whole thing, or just? Where were you for that kafas? Oh, you went testing by Rav Resnick Shul. Beautiful. How was it there? Beautiful.
What's he saying? Wednesday, December 4th?
Write that down. Rav Ezi quickly gets that down. December 4th. Somebody's December 3rd. Yitzmandel. That's back to back. Big time classic. We're going to dance for 48 hours straight. Let's go. Tomorrow night's the Neil Jonas. And Maish Rothman. Yeah, Maish Rothman's tomorrow night. No, I'm going to be there. You going to be there?
Gonna be what?
I hope to be there, hopefully.
Unbelievable. I got it. I'm like, nah. I'm looking, because first you look at the last name, that's the first thing you see, and I'm like,
Maish Rothman learned here the first year as a yeshiva. He's in his 30s, getting married, a beautiful, very special person. Yeah.
you do a fly, man.
There's so much more I want to learn Noach and Lech Lecha. I wait the whole year to get where Avram Avinu shows up in Noach and is here in Lech. I want to start the parasha of Avram Avinu, but these days we have to run. We're going to start soon. We're not going to be able to daven mincha. Johnny's minyan gets canceled for the winter soon, so this is the last day we can chaparain. So we're going to stop here. Second Seder, Reza Hashem will begin at 5 o'clock. Whoever could join us for a minyan for mincha, we're going to dive in the annex right now, minyan for mincha. Remind me your first name. Yehuda Turkel. From Ramat.